gonna do? I can't tell you, but I shock it too. Say it's your game. Do what you wanna do now.
Yeah. What the hell? The music plays loud and I get lost in it. So, welcome to the Rockstar Roadie podcast. We are still new and we still don't give a shit what you think. No, all kidding aside. Got a special one today. Got a friend recommended to me, which was really nice. I'm looking forward to having this one. Couple legal disclaimers as usual per the deal. We are not therapists. We don't pretend to be doctors, although I do see one. So our opinions of mine and my guests are ours and ours only, and we don't really care if you like it or not. It's just reality. And we base everything on reality and not fantasy anymore. But yeah, so our opinions are our own. And second disclaimer, or two rules, I should say, of the podcast, which I did not go over with the guest, is that we do not discuss politics and we do not discuss religion under any circumstances. They are just two ugly hotbed topics. So with that being said, and I'm probably going to pronounce her last name wrong. And then I'm married, so I get yelled at, so I'm used to it. So it's okay. So would you please welcome Miss Jaimee Thein?
Fine, it's okay.
See, I told you I was going to say it wrong. You can tell me 100 times and I'll still screw it up. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm very used to my last name being pronounced wrong. So I've heard everything under the book. It's great. I love seeing what people come up with. So that was a first.
I think I kind of did it on purpose. That's all right, because like I have the most Irish last name, being an Italian Irish person, and I've watched more people spell my last name wrong. It's hysterical. Nobody ever spells it right. How do you think ONeil is spelled?
I mean,
yeah.
Apostrophe normally, right? And
normally, but I've taken that out over the years because hotel computer systems don't like the apostrophe.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, I can totally see that. Absolutely.
They always spell it ONeal, ONeill, ONeall, but they never spell it ONeil.
Interesting. I think being from Milwaukee, I'm so used to seeing the ONeil, O'Malley, yeah. So I was like, is this a trick question?
Nope. Milwaukee's, I love Milwaukee. There's a theater I always have done shows in up there. Oh my God. It's right there on the water.
Yeah.
Which
it's probably the Paps. Are you talking about the Paps Theater? It's great.
We always walk across the street and hang out at the Fonzie statue.
Mm-hmm.
The Fonzie statue. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm currently off the road, but I'm working at my other job, as you can see. So yeah.
Where are you?
I work for Horizon Entertainment Cargo. I do business development and sponsorship as well.
Nice.
Along with being on the road.
Nice. Well, as far as being on the road, tell me who you're with, what you do, how long you've been there.
So I've been with Brad Paisley for the past 4 years as production assistant, but some people are like, oh, you're more like an ATM production coordinator. My guys call me Queenie, Nice. This kind of like the catch-all is one of my favorite titles that I got recently from a venue person. They're like, you're just like the catch-all person. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, you're the one that puts it up with the shit before it gets to the people above you.
Yeah.
my production coordinator, she gets all the shit and then she filters it and brings it to me whenever I'm production managing on a tour. So it's just like, I need that because I can't focus on doing everything else that the artist wants when production coordinators are literally like my lifeblood. When I'm a PM, holy crap. I can't live without one.
And I think that's why I love being in that position so much, because it's like I played softball in college. And so I got recruited as outfielder, and I like to consider myself like the position is like outfield. So basically when things fall through the cracks, but you can really rely on the production coordinator to
100%.
really pick up the pieces. Yeah.
Yep. So here's a funny story. I told you, I think in one of our first emails, I have a funny story about Brad and me. So, my wife and I just moved down here to Mississippi from Nashville. We lived in Spring Hill. And my Masonic lodge is Hiram 7 in Franklin. Well, Brad, Doug, and myself all go to that lodge.
Oh,
And for
cool.
years, they've been trying to get me to work for Brad, but as his guitar tech, but my schedule would never line up. So they've been trying to, somebody from the camp has been calling me was calling me to work for Brad because they thought it'd be cool if Brad and Doug were Masons. Brad had a Masonic guitar tech. I'm like, listen, I'm down with anything. I don't care. I'm easy, you know? So, but it never worked out. But I thought it was pretty funny because we would go to the same lodge, but we almost would never see each other.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. I see Doug around more than I would see Brad.
Oh, I see. Doug calls me almost weekly, but in
Doug,
like the best way. I call him granddad.
he's everybody's grandfather.
Yeah.
And we've never hung out and talked, and I don't think he knows what I've done. I think we've messaged a couple times, and that was it. But he was just real good people, real nice people.
I think that's the best part about working for them is they're just genuinely really nice people. I'm
Yeah.
very lucky to work for an artist in the camp that actually cares about their people.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just good people, and I love working for good people. Because
So
I'm
how
in
many
the.
years?
Oh,
Sorry, I
yeah.
apologize.
No, 4 years with Brad.
Okay, so how many years have you been touring total?
Since 2016. So it's hard because you can't really consider the pandemic. So
Yeah.
9 years. Yeah, about something
Well,
like
no,
that.
you can consider the pandemic if you were working before we were shut down on March 16th, and then if you went back to work after it opened.
Yes, I did.
You didn't consider it a long ass break.
Yeah, I at that time I was with Chris Young, and luckily enough, he took care of me during the pandemic.
Nice.
And we did have 1 or 2 shows. I remember one, maybe there was 2, but unfortunately,
Yeah,
the world was shut down.
I heard some good things, especially from the country artists. There was a bunch of artists who took care of their crews, which I found mad respect in. I may not see eye to eye with some of the beliefs or some of the other things that a lot of these artists have, but when you take care of your crew, you get my respect.
Yes.
And I'm nobody in this world for it to matter to you, but that was, to me, that was cool for an artist to go, hey, listen, let me take care of these people. And
Yes.
that's cool. So go ahead.
No, it's just that it's wonderful that I've been able to work with people like that really care about their crew.
Right.
Chris is that way, and so is Brad. So I'm very lucky.
Yeah, and I've got that now in being with Bon Jovi. They really look out for their crew, and I've been with them for a few years, and they're just really good. I mean, forget that they're from back home in Jersey, which we all grew up knowing each other. It's just they take care of their entire crew, and it's a great environment. And the same thing too. I'm about to head out end of next month, beginning of November, starts ESO. So, and then that's a grind, but everyone just has everyone's tired, but we laugh our asses off, and they really look out for us, which is nice.
I've heard good things about TSO.
Yeah,
Really
it's a
good
grind.
things.
It's a grind. I ain't gonna lie. It's 2 shows a day, 5 days a week, and backlines loading in at 6 a.m. some mornings. It's like, yeah, no, but it keeps me feeling young, even though I'm old. But anyway, so let's dive into some questions because you wrote some things, and I send out, just so everybody knows, I send out a little sheet to all the guests just to kind of give me some information. I want to, I don't mind going in blind on a lot of shit, but I want to hear your experiences. I want to know what you're involved in. And you had some very cool things to say in your stuff, and we'll kind of get into those here. But let's start off simple. What was your very first tour you worked on, and what do you see different from 2016 for your first tour to now? What has changed?
So 2016, I was doing merch for Lauren Elena. I've always just stayed in the country world, apparently. And it kind of varied from Sprinter vans to sometimes we had tour buses. She had just gotten off of the contract, I believe, from American Idol. Don't quote me on that. But at that time she was like 22, 23, still getting like her bearing. So we were still figuring out her place in the world. But the big thing that I have seen from 2016 till now, I don't know if it's just being about 10 years later, being about 10 years older, is I I feel like I've gotten a lot more respect from people as I've grown with the industry and really created a community. Because obviously, before touring, I did live events, I did a lot of festivals, radio promotions, things of that nature, anything I could get my hands on. But I really wanted to get into touring because I knew it was going to be really consistent work. And Lauren Elena just happened to fall, and then I just kind of continued from there. But yeah, I feel like even from venue people, I've gotten a lot more respect, and I feel like I get it back in return versus when I first started. I don't know if I just looked like I was 18, I had no idea what the hell I was doing, which is probably the case. But people just wanted to walk all over me, and I was like, I'm here for a reason. Like, they wouldn't just hire me if, they didn't think I could get the job done. So, that, and then it's wonderful now that I'm in my mid-30s.
Oh,
I've
please.
seen I've seen a lot more women on the road, and I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
And that's actually one of the main reasons why my boss for Horizon Entertainment Cargo, he brought me on, is he said, you really understand the industry, but as we're starting to see more women come up in the industry as tour managers, as production managers, I think they really want to see a vendor side where there is a woman touch. And so it's really nice to grow with the industry and also not only get more respect, but also just see a lot more women. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I had a guest on the other day, and his episode's coming up. Bobby Schneider, him and I go way back many years, and we were both talking about that too. Growing up in this industry, I'm almost on 40 years. Next year will be my 40th year of touring. And back then you didn't see any women, none. Now, I mean, one of the first women, and I'm trying to get her on the podcast. I gotta reach out to her again. But one of the first women I really was like, one of the dudes was one of the guys, was when I went to work for Styx back in like 2000, I want to say 7. And that was Libby Gray. And she's a badass. She's the LD for Styx, has been with Styx for like over 20 years. And she's just like, I got a funny story about her that I can't tell unless I tell it with her, because it's hysterical. But like, I didn't know her from Adam from Eve, and she did this one thing, and it's like we were besties at that point in time on the tour, because she just made me laugh all day long. And to see, like on TSO, we have, I hate, let's be honest with you, I hate saying women, but it's just, people don't have to understand. At one point in time, the touring was a male dominated world. And I was like, man, I get it. Like, okay, well, wardrobe girls, stop that. Wardrobe people, but whatever. It's now it's more. It's outside of the wardrobe scope. It's outside of the catering scope. On TSO, we have a bunch of women, and it's great. We laugh all day. Everyone's just like cutting up, and it doesn't matter your gender, and it's so annoying to that fact that people are like, well, I want to have this, that, the other thing. I got a call to do a tour, and I apologize for jumping in on your stuff here, but people have to understand how our industry works a little bit. I got a call for a tour, and they're like, well, we don't want any women on the tour. Well, tough, because they're just as qualified, if not more qualified than men on so many different areas. They had an issue with my production coordinator being a woman. I'm like, I don't want a dude. No offense. I need someone who can calm my ass down from not wanting to kill you during the day. Let me be real freaking clear. A woman can calm me down. Like there's a running joke where, like, when my mom passed away, I asked the hospice to call my wife. And they're like, well, why? I'm like, because she's literally the only person on this planet who can calm me down. She could tell me something the right way. I'm sorry, women are not only smarter in so many aspects than men, but they know how to work us. They know how to tell us something that's going to not get inflammatory. That's not going to elicit an aggravated result. You know what I mean? I don't need some hospice calling me going, hey, your mom died. How about you break that to me a little bit better? You know what I mean? So my production coordinator always knew to filter out the shit before it got to me, so she can tell me the right way without me going, I'm going to kill you. Not literally, in the figurative speech is like, really just, I don't do well with stupidity, and it drives me crazy when something does something stupid. Anyway, so let's move on. Anyway, I don't know if this is gonna this might pertain to you, but I like this question. It says, every tour has its share of wild moments, funny stuff, stupid
Mhm.
stuff. Share something for you that, like, let's use Paisley or any tour for that matter. Just share one of your funniest, craziest moments that you witnessed.
Ooh. Uh, I'm sure when you ask this all the time, like people are just like, "Oh, where do I
Mhm.
start?"
It's
One
not
of
where it would start. They had that same look, like, oh shit, I gotta think.
shit, yeah. But one of the best memories that's funny, and I'll just never forget this, is we had off days in Coronado, right outside of San Diego. Awesome area. I've never actually spent time there until we had days off with Paisley. And I have a lot of fishermen and hunters that are on my crew. And
Nice.
I just remember like walking out to our buses and I see all the guys with fishing poles. I'm like, well, this is probably illegal, but that's fine. I'll just engage. Hey guys, what are y'all catching? What you doing? Get anything? And sure enough, as I'm like just hanging out with them, one of my guys has a crab on the end of his fishing pole. And I'm like, oh, that's like a crab. Like it's like spider
Yeah.
legs. It was like probably like that big. And I was like, holy crap. So all of a sudden I was like, oh, I have no idea. I don't know how to handle a crab. Like that's not my. And then it went so by so fast. I don't know how we ended up getting the crab off the hook. But I remember my stage manager, the crab somehow fell on the ground and he just starts kicking it up against the wall like it's like a soccer ball. He's like, and this little crab is like, like a cartoon character just like running around. I'm like, what is going on right now? So then my monitor tech, he somehow grabs it. And I don't know this about crustaceans, fishing, because that's not my MO. But he grabs the crab, but he grabs it wrong. And all of a sudden you just see this crab go, and he
Latches down on
grabs,
them.
just grabs. And he's like, oh God, he's got my finger. He's got my thumb. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding. So we're all just like, what the heck? And I'm right next to a bus. I'm like, I'm getting the first aid. So by the time I ran out, got the first aid, somehow one of my guys had like a tool, like just to basically cut off the arm. And that crab just fell back into the ocean, just went bye-bye. And you can just see him kind of going like this, like just like, I'm like, what just happened? So I'm like stitching up like his thumb basically because it started bleeding. And for a crab that was like this big, I was like, wow, I'm not messing with crabs. And he goes, yeah, that just happened so fast. We just got him. And Marcus just starts kicking him like a soccer ball. And I'm like, what is happening right now?
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I carry a fishing pole on tour. I ain't gonna lie. There are some tours that if I know where I'll have the dates in advance and I'll see where we're gonna be, and I
Mhm.
look at the days off, and I'm like, all right, I'll carry my fishing pole because it's like
Yeah,
the one ounce of peace I get on this planet. Is just I shut the phone off and I go fishing. So yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm not gonna lie. That one will never come up again with somebody else. I can tell you that.
Yeah, and like my guys like to grill and fish and do all that stuff, and so it's great because
Oh
all of a
yeah, the
sudden
country tours. Yeah.
I'll just be right outside the buses and I'm like, "Oh, what y'all doing? What you grilling?" All that fun stuff. But yeah, a crab, I was like, first off, I didn't think they were gonna catch anything because we weren't obviously like in the ocean, like Coronado
Well,
kind
you
of
wouldn't
like
also
this.
think they're gonna catch a crab
Yeah.
of
And
all things.
I was like, out of all things, I was like, really? Crab?
Crab's normally
Crab?
caught in a basket, not on a fishing pole. So
Yeah,
that I would say that's a first for me to ever hear too, being a
I was
fisherman.
like, okay, all right. But yeah, I'll just never forget it. He's like, oh, he got me. He got me.
By
Crap.
the way, have you guys ever had, and my favorite thing on a tour, and my production coordinator, she knows she'll do this whenever she can, and she'll coordinate with whether it's the Live Nation rep or the AEG rep, whoever our rep is on tour. Have you ever had puppy days? It is my favorite thing. I will sit in my production office with a puppy in my lap all day and work. I love it.
So I have on our rider emotional support animals.
Yes.
So anytime we can, or if we have room, they'll bring in puppies, and I love it because it brings good emotional support to the crew because it just brings natural endorphins, happiness,
100%.
positivity, but also it's really good for the puppies to get acclimated to having more people around, being around, like all
Socializing.
that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like a win-win. And when people do post on social media, it's a win for the nonprofit, and then hopefully more puppies get adopted. But the coolest thing this year, Bend, Oregon. I don't know if you've been there. Hayden
Yes.
Homes. Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if I was the first one to ever do this, but I was definitely the first one this year. When we were doing our advance, they're like, we see emotional support animals. How do you feel about llamas? And I was like,
Yes.
yeah.
So they brought llamas in at Christmas.
I was like, this is awesome.
That was llamas were cool. I got pictures of them too. I should have pulled them up.
Yeah, that was real cool. So there's a group chat of full of us girls, and I took a picture with the selfie of one of the llamas, and I was like, I don't think I'm the first one to ask for animals here, but just so you know, they have llamas here. Definitely ask if you're going to Bend, Oregon.
Nice. Yeah, I'm trying to find them as we're talking. But in case people don't know what we're talking about, emotional support animals. So every city, obviously, like any city, has a rescue. So what we do and what the Live Nation or AEG or who the promoter reps, they already know the cities we're going to. They know to reach out to the local rescues who are in need of help, whether it be donations, whether it be exposure, anything. And they will bring puppies. They bring not cages, but they bring surrounds and stuff like that for the puppies. And they'll bring the puppies down to the venue. We find a nice grassy area, shaded, and all that stuff like that. And we make an announcement on the radio for an all call. Hey, we have puppies. And you will see guys who are having the worst day or even in their own head, having personal issues. You will see them with the puppies smiling their asses off and enjoying every minute of it. And what we do is we post on social media, tagging the shelter that's there that day and trying to help bring awareness to that shelter. And what that shelter gives back to us is happiness. And I've even had one. So I've had one bring goats. We've had goat days. We had, there's one shelter. I can't remember. And I have a picture in my schmatza stuff here from somewhere, but there is, one shelter that brought a pig.
That's awesome.
And, oh my God, it was so cool. And then I got to play with the goaties, which was awesome because you get to sit there and feed them. And it's one of those things where it really breaks up your monotony for the day. It helps to get your brain basically reset. And like you said, it releases endorphins and it just makes you happy. And there's nothing happier than a damn puppy. Let me just tell you that much right now. So yeah, so that's always fun. I love puppy days. I'll see if I can find the picture here and pop it up at some point in time. All right. So production coordinator extraordinaire. Here's one for you.
Okay.
What is the strangest request you've had from a crew person, or a band person to provide what they needed?
Ooh. That one I would really have to think about. I'm very lucky being mostly in the country world. We have our shit together. I haven't had a lot of weird requests. I haven't had like the M&M's things. I've had a lot of pranks played on me about getting things and calling places. And I'm like, hey, do you have a glow tape? And they're like, what? And then I'll be like, this is a prank. And then you just see all my guys like snickering in the background. I'm like, this doesn't exist, does it? And he goes, no, it doesn't. So I get pranks played on me a lot. But honestly, I like it because then I get to learn more about what people actually need, what audio means for cables. And I'm not going to go into models because I don't know all that stuff. But when it comes to like set cart supplies, then I'm like, oh, that tool exists, but that definitely doesn't exist.
Right. Oh, I've done it to people before. I mean, I pranks. I love pulling pranks. One of the things I'll pull is I had a stagehand who was a little full of themselves, and I'm like, all right, I got two choices here. I can be uber mean and be the old me, or I can just be nice and give you a teaching lesson. So they were ticking off my stage manager. My stage manager didn't have a mean bone in his body, so he came to me because he knew I did. He's like, what do we do about this? I said, great, hang on, send him in here. So I sent him in. I said, hey, I need you to do me a favor. And it was a stagehand / runner. It was a smaller show. It was like 2-truck tour. So I'm like, here's what I need you to do. I need you to go down to Harbor Freight, Home Depot, Lowe's. I need you to check all these stores. I need you to get me a truck spreader. He's like, what's a truck spreader? I'm like, it's a long bar. It's got a crank in the middle and it expands. No such thing. Okay, cool. Like 3 hours go by. This guy still hasn't shown back up. Oh, I got another one that's a doozy for you for a runner that pissed me off. But anyway, so he comes back after 3 hours. I said, did you find it? He's like, dude. I'm like, dude, I called Harbor Freight. They had 3 of them in stock. He's like, I went to Harbor Freight. The guy had no clue what I was talking about. He said I was nuts. There's no such thing. I'm like, dude, he had 3 in stock. And he looked at me and said, should I go back to Harbor Freight? It's 45 minutes away. I said, no. I said, we don't need it anymore. He said, there's no such thing as a truck spreader. He's like, what the hell did you send me for? I said, did you learn anything? He's like, what was I supposed to learn? I said, shut your mouth and do your job. Now, I just taught you something. I played a prank on you that didn't hurt you. And he just laughed and he's like, all right, I get it. I'm sorry. So there you go. So, and then the other prank I played on a runner who pissed me off because they just wouldn't shut up all day. They were trying to get in and hang with the artist. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, sorry, that's just the wrong answer. I sent him out to buy me an 8-ball. I told him, I wrote it on the runner's list, 8-ball. The guy goes, I can't buy that. It's illegal. I said, you need to go buy me an 8-ball. That's your job. We're paying you to do this. If you can't do your job, there's no reason for me to do it. So he goes, and he does his runs and stuff. He comes back, dude, I legally can't buy you an 8-ball. I'm like, you can't go to the pool store and buy me a friggin' 8-ball?
I was wondering where that was going.
Yeah. So it's like, he's like, well, I said I needed an 8-ball. What did you think I needed? You assumed I needed drugs? And he's like, and then the whole big thing, he got pissed, and then I calmed him down. I'm like, just do your job. Stop trying to hang with the artist, because I could pull bigger dickish moves on you than having you go buy an 8-ball. I could have sent you to the adult store to buy adult toys. Okay? And I've done that before. But anyway, I digress. Let me see if I can pull this up. I think you'd get a kick out of this.
Okay.
Where is it? I'm still learning how to do half this stuff. Here we go. All right. So let's see if this works. I don't know if this is going to work. Fingers crossed. Come on. There we go. That was TSO.
Hey, that's awesome.
Right? That's so cool.
That's amazing.
I was like, can I ride them? And they're like, no. I'm like, oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah,
and then they brought in Santa, and we sat on Santa's lap.
That's amazing.
What grown man's not going to sit on Santa's lap? Come on.
Yeah. That's pretty good. I wish my pictures were that good with the llama. I just mostly took selfies, and I'm like,
right. I know the selfie thing. I got a selfie stick. I'm trying this whole like this whole social media thing and trying to keep up with the kids. Yeah, my kids are trying to teach me how to do shit. I'm like, just stop. Anyway, so let's get back into the questions, because this will happen with this podcast. We will derail and then we will circle back. It's the ADHD podcast. So speaking of ADHD and issues, obviously I strive on this show to talk about and bring awareness to mental health on the, especially from us on the road. What challenges have you seen or have you dealt with being on the road, and what damage, if any, has it done?
well, that's a loaded question in itself.
Mm-hmm. Well, we can rephrase that if that helps.
Yeah,
All right, let's start here. So how do you handle the physical and mental exhaustion that comes with the long hours that we work? Oh, so many.
Okay. Well, don't tell anybody, but I do try to take a nap during the day.
So do I.
I know it's like taboo for like the PA, PC, because we always have to be on call with like the runners and all that stuff. And believe me, when my phone goes off, it goes off. But just even if I don't fall asleep in my bunk, being able to just close my curtain, just sit in darkness and just not listen to anybody. Because I'm also the psychologist on tour. So if anything goes wrong, it all funnels through me. So sometimes just getting away. That's how I really kind of like physically shut down, even if it's just for 15 minutes. I'm like, I'm just going to shut my eyes. And sometimes I'm that tired that I'm like, oh, I did fall asleep. Mentally, what I like to do is I think having some sort of meditating, even if it's for like a minute. And what I like to do is I like to take in deep breaths, big deep breaths in, because it kind of just resets like your nervous system a little bit.
Mhm.
But I also have, I wouldn't call it a journal, but I write things down, good things, runners that are promoters, catering, how the venue was. I try to just keep track of how my day went. And just important things to note, like this venue sucks because this loading dock is like 5 blocks away, and then you have to push like another 500 feet, and so on and so forth. So when I go back on things, I'm like, it's first world problems. It's not a big deal. We're here to put on a show. We did a show. We're good. We're good. And then it's also like mentally it helps me grow. And I'm like, why do I bitch about the stupidest stuff? Like, get over it, Jaimee. But I love to hear how you handle it on the road.
Whoa. I used to not be able to. I used to be like very, 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 very grumpy. And if you know the backstory about my podcast or about anything about me, it's just like, and a lot of people know. And I try to be very transparent because of the amount of crap that I've gone through personally and professionally in my life. But up until the pandemic was a blessing and a curse. Obviously, it was a curse because we were all broke.
Yeah.
And, I was with an artist for many years and they did not take care of us, which, is unfortunate, but, they're not obligated to, so I can't be mad at them. But I was mad at myself for not being a better preparer. I had enough saved up for, 6 to 8 months. And then after that, I started to panic. So I went into a depression, and that depression I realized was actually happening on a road. And the one thing I learned having a great therapist since then is that I'm fortunate that I get to deal with depression. And when I say I deal with it, it'll come in short spurts. It's pretty brutal. And the way to know I'm depressed or if something's bothering me is I keep quiet.
Yeah.
You will just see me do my job. You will not hear a peep out of me. You won't hear me cut up and joke around like I normally do. And I've been lucky enough to say I deal with it, but I feel horrible for the people who have to live with it. Because I know in the short time, whether it's a day or two, and it normally doesn't last more than 2 days, it's brutal falling down a black hole. And then for people to what is the word? I deal with it. What they suffer from it. People who suffer from depression, I feel horrible for them because for those 2 days that I'm dealing with it is brutal. I've gotten so much better with being able to pull myself out of it. Now it's like an hour or two, or maybe a day, but dealing with it on the road is hard because you're away from your family.
Absolutely.
I have 2 of my own children who I missed a lot of their growing up. I have 3 wonderful stepchildren or bonus children, as I call them.
Oh,
I missed a lot. I've missed funerals. I've missed
Yeah.
surgeries. I've missed graduations. And most of those were due to the fact, and I'm not going to lie, that I was coerced into thinking I was going to lose my job if I went to a graduation or if I went to be there for someone for a surgery. And back then, the hollow man in me was just like, okay, well, I had to feed my family. So I guess, hey, I can't go to your graduation, child of mine, that is my spawn of Satan, So my children are straight out the Spawn of Satan book. But because I was coerced into believing I was going to lose my job if I did not stay and do my job.
Right.
I'm opening a book on that. I'm going to start calling people out for pulling that shit because I don't ever pull that shit. The good bands I worked for, especially Jovi. Listen, there's a problem at home. Go home. We'll get someone to fill in for you. No problem. You need to go home for your kid's graduation? Go. We'll get a fill in for you for 2 or 3 shows. Cool.
Yeah.
Some people in our industry use that against us.
Absolutely.
But dealing with it on the road is harder because you have to pay the bills. You are trained mentally to go, I have to put up with this to be able to pay the bills because I don't know anything else and I don't know what I'm going to do if we can't pay the bills. And the pandemic made a lot of those realizations of those threats or of those coercions come true. Now I'm smarter. I got a great therapist who pulled me out of the black hole from hell and brought me back to the person I was before. Yes, I'm going to be respectful to an artist. Yes, I'm going to be, professional in my job, but I won't let people walk on me anymore. And you
Right.
can't let people walk on you. You're a human being. The rich people we work for put their pants on one leg at a time like we do. They wipe their ass like we do. They eat their food like we do.
Mm-hmm.
They're no better. Just because you have
Mm-hmm.
more money, my grandfather used to say, it doesn't matter how much money a man has. They're not any better than you are. I could be the poorest man in the world and take care of my family, and I'm still the richest man in the world.
I
So,
love that.
and it's just reality. That a lot of the younger generation in our industry need to realize you don't need to be a dick, but you don't need to be walked on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I find that that's one of, I don't want to say my grievances, but like, yeah, if I'm standing up in a wedding, I shouldn't have to worry about that. I'm going to be replaced the next week. Like
Exactly.
we all have lives. Like let people live their life. They
Mhm.
already sacrificed so much. Like you said, birthdays, weddings, graduation. Let them have their moments. It's not often. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a yeah, it's like our lifestyle to do this, but it's like let them live a little bit. My goodness.
I mean, here's a sad but real story, especially on tomorrow being the anniversary of 9/11.
Oh my
My
God,
buddy,
that was
I
holy
know.
crap.
My
9/11
buddy,
already.
yeah, my buddy Danny Lee was out on tour and he was flying home. He lost his life in 9/11 on one of the planes. And
Holy crap.
yeah, he was flying home. The band let him go to
Mhm.
be home with his wife for their birth of their daughter.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't make it home. And I look at that as, yes, it's sad, but at the same time, that was a band who was trying to do something right for one of their crew people to let him to say, not let him, but to be respectful to him and say, hey man, go home. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're not curing cancer. We're doing a show.
Right.
We can cover your gig for a couple days. And that's just what it is. People don't understand that. Your gig can be covered. If you're working directly with the artist, now I can't talk about vendor people because
Right.
I don't know how vendor people handle, I do for some of the companies that I normally use, like PRG and Bandit and all them guys. I know how they work, and Claire, but I can't speak for the artist people or the artist tech, personal tech himself, and I've been the artist tech so many times, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
And it's just like I've had artists in the past say, yeah, man, go home, be with you, be with your family. And then I've been coerced into staying, not by the artist, but by their handlers. And I'm not doing that no more
No.
because it makes your mental world worse.
Yes, it does.
Because now you have someone at home who needed you and you chose, they think, and this was said to me by one of my children, you chose your job over me.
Yeah.
And to hear that out of your kid's mouth, man, it's not a good place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not a good place to hear. But how do you handle that?
It's been a challenge because I've been married now 9 months. Like I'm fresh. Like I got married in yay. I know I married a normie, and when I
Oh my
say
God.
that, I know. Not, and I specifically, I thought, oh, I'll be completely frank. I thought I was going to die alone. I am super Sicilian, German, Russian. I'm everything everybody hates during World War II. I have a very strong personality. I've been called a firecracker and every other name under the book because that's who I am. I'm just trying to keep a straight face. I'm just trying,
It's good to be you.
But and that's exactly it. And I understand that whole phrase, I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I definitely understand that.
Yep.
And so I also knew I didn't want to shit where I ate. And I was like, I don't want to date a roadie, especially if it goes wrong. And I have, and it did not go well. So I was like, nope, never again. Learn my lesson. Touch the stove. I'm not doing it again. So when I met Andrew, he works in clinical research. He's a personal trainer on the side. Like I was like, oh,
good for you.
Like normal. But I will say this for somebody that has a normal 9 to 5 job, he doesn't understand why I'm taking calls at 11 p.m. because I have clients that are crossing the border and they're like, we don't know what we're doing. And I'm like, sorry, Andrew. And then he gets frustrated because he thinks I'm choosing work over our quality time, because we obviously don't get a lot of it because I'm on the road. I work full time for Brad, and I also travel for Horizon Entertainment Cargo. Like, so I'm constantly on my computer, on my phone, and he gets a little bogged down. I have to explain. I'm like, you will always come first, but just know, like, this call's only going to take 2 minutes, and I'm really sorry if you really feel that way. And I'm going to work better on my work-life balance so it doesn't affect our marriage. So
Right.
I'm still working on it. And if somebody has the perfect answer, please let me know, because I still have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
I'll tell you what I do. So I remote production manage. Right now I'm advancing 3 tours in 3 different time zones throughout the world. I make it very clear I work from 9 to 5 Central Standard Time. After 5 o'clock, my rates go up.
Ooh.
If you want me to take away from my family. Now, if there's exigent circumstances, yes, I'll handle it. You know, if there's an emergency, I'll handle it. But if it's not something that's life threatening, keeping a crew guy stuck in another country or whatever, I'm not, you know, it's an advance. And if anybody doesn't know what that is, it's just basically we have booklets that we advance shows of what the artist needs to the venue, to the promoters, and it's all laid out. I mean, it's meticulously laid out to where right down to dimensions on the stage and where stuff goes on the stage. But regardless, I had to learn to start creating the boundary of I won't answer the phone after 6 p.m. I won't. Unless it's an emergency. If you're on a travel day, that's a different story. But if it's a non-travel day and it's a show day and it's 6 o'clock, if everything's not running like it should be, you got issues.
Yeah.
You didn't do something right, or I didn't do something right. And I hate to break it to people. I know I did my shit right. I've got countless tours under my belt telling me I did it right. And I'm friends with the people in the venue and I know the promoter rep. So don't tell me, like, if I see the promoter rep's number come up on my phone after 6 o'clock, it's either there's a fire or he's going to tell me something funny. But you have to create what works for you as far as your boundaries go with managements and artists and all that stuff like that going. Listen, I have to have some type of normal life.
Yes.
You know, and I know with Brad, and I love it, because if I was single, Danny, back in the day, I would have loved working for Brad because I know his guitar tech goes everywhere with him on
Yes.
every single thing.
Yes.
That leaves no room for a life.
Right.
But I respect that, and I would have done that many, 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 many years ago.
Right.
So anyway, let's talk about this one is touring can be very isolating.
Yes.
How do you keep your sanity, but also stay connected with your friends, your family, and your support system?
Well, I'm very good no matter what. Unfortunately, I had some, family things that have happened in the past, and so since 2019, since I found my uncle dead, I call my mom every single day. Doesn't matter where I am in the world. And that gives me reassurance that the world is going to continue to turn and I'm doing okay, because I know I have my mom here. My mom was a single mom, so it's just her and me growing up. But no matter where I am in the world, I will always call her. And that gives me a lot of sanity. And since I've been with Andrew, let's see, we started dating in May of 22. I also call him every single day as well.
So you have your anchors. Those are your anchors that tie you to the real world.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
because both my mom and Andrew have nothing to do with entertainment. They're obviously involved in my life, but they have nothing to do with entertainment. And so I'm like, if I'm having a bad day, I'm like, I just need a bend. And they're like, remember when you wanted to be a doctor and you wanted to save lives? You're putting on a show. It's fine. It's fine. You're going to figure it out. You always do. It's good. And they keep me grounded.
Tell me about your website.
Yes. Ooh, that really needs some work.
Hey, all of them do.
So I created that a long time ago when I was really trying to, as Justin Carbone. So long story short, Horizon Entertainment Cargo is going to be Rocket Cargo, and he always likes to use the term boots on the ground. So when I got my boots on the ground in Nashville, yeah, I created this website, and I don't think a lot of people visited because I can see the stats and all that stuff. But
You know what's funny? Not to interrupt you, but Justin is literally one of my best friends on this planet.
is he really? Yeah.
Yep.
So technically now he's my new boss and director.
Oh, good. I can have some fun.
It's a whole thing. But yeah, Justin's been great.
He's
so,
awesome. He's
yeah.
he's one of those very few, very rare people that give a shit.
Yes.
He gives a shit. And he is always, for anything I've ever done, back from Cyndi Lauper, back, Rocket Cargo we did Cyndi Lauper back in the late 80s. And any band I've ever done, I've always brought in Rocket. We use Rocket for Jovi. We use Rocket for TSO. Justin is always the man.
Yes.
And he'll come out and see you if there's a problem. He'll fly out. He'll fly out just to say what's up.
Yes.
Which is like the coolest thing from any vendor that I've ever had. It's just like, they'll come out and go, "Hey, what's up? Let's go to dinner." So, let's see.
But yeah, long story short, the website needs a little help.
Well, we'll see if we can get some people driven there. We'll get some. What do you need? Talk to me. Let's see what we can pull off.
It's just, oh my God, what doesn't? It's just, it's like a WordPress thing. And so, my story is I was supposed to be a doctor. I went to my undergrad. I wanted to be a doctor. And so I went to Marquette University, played club softball, was in band, choir, all that fun stuff. And then I realized I hated my classes. And it didn't help that we were in mid-recession. So it was like 2008 to 2012. And I was like, I hate my classes. So when I got my PR degree and I switched to PR, one of the best things, I wish I would have focused more on Photoshop, because that's when Photoshop really started to get its bearings. But the coolest thing is one of my PR teachers was like, if you're going to learn how to do websites, this is going to be a great builder. And so we learned how to do websites off of WordPress. Again, I wish I would have spent more time on that, but it's not my MO.
Yeah, I had WordPress, and then here's the funny thing is, I've gotten into AI huge, like ChatGPT and DeepSeek, and I've learned how to create certain prompts to do certain things. So our website now for the podcast is fully designed in AI.
Oh, seriously?
Yep. A lot of my images are done through AI. I wrote, do not laugh. I wrote 3 children's books, and there's 3 more coming for a total of 6 in the series about my dogs. And I can tell you how the picture's supposed to look, but I couldn't draw a stick figure to save my life. Well, I put it exactly what I wanted into ChatGPT, and you come up with these custom prompts where you can search the web, you can find them. They literally drew all the cover and the pictures for my entire book for me, based off of pictures that I uploaded of each of the dogs.
Wow.
And I wanted everything to be like a cartoon, like a kid's book, a cartoon, and they're cartoonerized. And I was like, what the hell? I never saw that coming at all. It's just like, there's so much you can do now with ChatGPT, which is funny, because I never thought I would be almost 60 years old and learning that stuff, but it works out. Let me see if I could find you one here. Oh, here we go. Perfect. I found the perfect one. This is our newest puppy. Let's see. But this is in the style from ChatGPT based on my prompts.
Oh, I can't wait to see. I love puppies. Oh,
right?
That's so cute.
He's a devil dog, but it works. But it's let's see. There's okay, this one was about another one of our dogs. Here we go.
Oh.
But I didn't draw that. That is all AI, based on everything, like in the balloon, the fence, the little box back there. They're all based on what I told ChatGPT what to do.
That's amazing.
And what you can do with it. And again, so I took that and I went, well, let me build a website. Let me see how that would work. And page by page, it built the website the way I wanted it to be built. Now, are there things that can be fixed? 100%. But I had a WordPress site, and it is not. It's fucking stupid. I'm not dogging WordPress, but literally, you have to be smarter than the average roadie to run a WordPress site.
Yeah. It's not, it's not like Squarespace, and it has a little bit more to it. And I was like, why did I have to learn off this one? Why couldn't I done like something else? But here we are.
I got a good question for you, because
Sure.
you seem like the one that would take this question and have fun with it. So, looking back throughout your career up to this moment,
Mm-hmm.
what is the proudest and most rewarding moment of your career on tour?
I've had a couple of moments with runners. I am very much somebody that I struggle to get into the touring side of the industry. It took me I moved to Nashville in 2014. Yeah, it took me about 2 years, and I don't know why. Again, I don't know if people just didn't have respect for me. I was green, or just didn't just take me seriously.
Yeah, it's
Um,
that's how people are treated.
And so I just, I really just worked really, really hard. And what I have found is that you don't have to treat people that way just because you got treated that way. And so I get a lot of runners that are like, wow, like you're so nice. Like we don't get treated like this often. And I said, well, first off, you're human. Secondly, your day is only as good as my day. So if your day sucks, then my day is going to suck. And I obviously want you to have a good day. And so one of the coolest, proudest moments is this runner in Camden, New Jersey. I wish I would have kept up with her more, but I hope she's thriving somewhere. But she was basically like, I want to be you one day. And I was like, great. What do you do? Where do you go to school? Tell me. And then I am a resume ripper-upper. I don't mean to be, but I can be really critical, because one of the things I found is, people judge you in 3 seconds when they meet you. Your resume, I look at it for like 2 seconds and I'm like, yay or nay. And so I was like, all right, let's go through this, and I'm going to tell you this and that. And, we're going to keep it to 1 page. And she goes, well, I have more than that. And I was like, 1 page? You don't have that much experience? 1 page? You're in college? 1 page? And then, we just had really good conversation, dialects all day. And then at the very end, she wrote me a beautiful, lovely thank you. And she goes, I've never had somebody on tour take the time to actually talk to me like a human, take the time to, I had questions and I just really wanted to learn, and you taught me so much in 1 day. And it was a beautiful thank you card. And I was like, okay, like that's cool. Like, I really, really love that she can walk away knowing that she has more confidence. She has the right tools. She's doing the right things. And she has my number. So if she ever needed something, she could call me. So that was beautiful.
That's see, and that's what needs to be done. And it's like, I'm so tired of people treating road crew like crap.
Yeah.
And when I say road crew, I don't just mean the touring crew. I'm talking about the local stagehands, the local caterers, the local runners. I've watched it. And I hate to say this, but many, 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 many years ago, I did it. And I realized I was wrong. And it's something that it just has to stop. And I don't know if it will. It's gotten better. I've seen it get better. But if the PM or the production coordinator is having a bad day, it's a trickle down filter effect. You take it out on the person under you, because you as production coordinator couldn't take it out on me, the production manager.
Right.
That's just not the etiquette that we do on the road, because then there's that thing we talked about earlier where, oh crap, I just took it out on the boss and now I'm going to get fired.
Right.
Listen, my production coordinator and I were together for 20 something years. She ripped me an ass more than I could ever shake a stick at. And I'd be like, all right, cool. But not a lot of people think like that. And that's unfortunate. All right. So now we get a little deeper because we're coming up on time, but you brought up something in your paperwork here. Let me find it here. Okay, there we go. Well, we'll talk resources in a minute, but have you dealt with, there's an easy way to ask this question, and then there's the really ugly way. How, have you ever struggled with depression and anxiety when touring, and how did you manage it without it letting you spiral?
Yeah, I've had both, but I struggle with my anxiety way more. Got my first panic attack when I was 25, so that was fun. unfortunately for me, I am on a very low dosage of medication, and that really has helped. And I always keep a small medication dosage in case I do have a panic attack. But journaling and talking things through and having my support system that's off the road really, really helps me keep me in check, keeps me grounded, and just kind of just that whole breathing process and resetting your nervous system does wonders. Just taking deep breaths when you have a runner and they're just dumb as rocks. And I really love my runners because they make my day. But sometimes I get a runner, I'm like, woo, sa, woo, sa.
Yeah, I get it. Trust me.
Yeah, it's but I do my best to make sure that my anxiety never just takes control. And when I hear that little thing in the back of my head, they're like, ready, set, go. I'm like, nope, I got this under control. We got this. I got this. Reset. All right, let's park it into the driveway and just take a deep breath. All right, reverse. Let's go driving. We're good. We got this. It's just a lot of therapy over the years. It's just a lot of understanding my body and my mental state and understanding my triggers, which I'm still working on, but more importantly, just keeping myself in check and making sure that
There's a question for you. What is your biggest trigger? Now, you know it because I know mine. I'll go first to help you out.
Okay.
My biggest trigger, common sense stupidity. I can't stand people who the answer is right in front of their face.
Yeah.
And they still look like a moron trying to figure it out. That just stupidity of not paying attention. And I love to say, read the friggin' room, because you need to read the room before you open your mouth. And if you're going to open your mouth, make sure something stupid doesn't come flying out of it. And 9 times out of 10, they don't read the room and something comes stupid flying out of their mouth. But the answer's right in front of you. Someone has literally sometimes just said the answer and you still don't get it. Stupidity. Imbecilicism. I don't know what the hell you want to call it, but good God, just that drives me crazy. And it doesn't get me mad. It makes me sad for the younger generation.
Yeah, I can't handle stupid. That's why I don't think I could ever be TM or PM. I don't have patience for it.
Oh God, yeah. Trust
me. Truly. Yeah. I mean, it takes a special person to be a TM or PM to either deal with an artist. And again, a lot of the artists I've worked with are great, but I've seen some stuff and I'm like, I don't know how you put up with that.
Not me. Some artists are freaking stupid and they don't realize that, the earth doesn't revolve around them. Let me be clear.
Exactly. Yes, that's exactly it. And then you just get some you get some entitled roadies. And I'm like, I'm really happy you've been on the road for 30 years. You're great at your job. You've been to all these venues. That's awesome. I still don't have patience for your shitty attitude, or just your stupidity and just your lack of common sense, or just no emotional IQ. I'm like, I don't have patience for it. I'm sorry. I'm not doing it.
No, I get it. I mean, I completely get it. I do fear, for some people in this up and coming generation who just they're self-entitled and think they know all. And then, I come back a year later and they've been humbled by somebody else. And it's like, man, you got yelled at by so-and-so on the same thing. I had a discussion with you.
Yeah.
The year before. Because TSO, the good thing about TSO is you go to the same venues every year. It's a year-long Groundhog Day. So someone I saw at the venue last year who I tried to help because they asked me for help and they did good at the time, screwed up when I get the story back from them the next time I see them that they screwed up, did the same stupid shit. And I'm like, but didn't I do that with you? Didn't I help you? And it's like, retention of knowledge for the upcoming generation is just
zero.
Unfounded. What do you at?
No, I was going to say, but when I have 2 triggers.
Oh, yeah.
When people call me pet names like sweetheart or honey, and
it's disrespect.
I still get it quite a bit.
Okay, darling.
And then the other, obviously, male-dominated industry still. If I am the one that has the answers, but they're not coming to me because they see me as the rest of the guys, they have the answers.
Yep.
And I'm like, this is me. And
Yeah.
it takes every ounce of me to be like, hey,
Yes.
fucking right here, ask me.
You advanced it. You're the one with the firsthand knowledge of the answer, but yet I'm going to go to Bob Schmob over here and get the answer.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, those are triggers. Big triggers.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. It annoys me too. It's just like, why are you going to so-and-so when I'm the production manager?
Right.
I'm the one who advanced the damn show. I'm the one who advanced the damn tour.
Yes.
Ask me. And no, well, they might know. Well, they don't know. And they're going to give you the wrong answer. And I'm going to laugh when you have the package shipped to the wrong place because you were too stupid not to ask the right person. Anyway, and that's happened more times than I can shake a stick at. What, you had mentioned in your intake sheet about organizations, good resources. What resources have you found that will help other people and who look out for, not only just crew guys' well-being, but their mental health? I mean, well-being goes with mental health, but nowadays mental health is needs to be a little bit more stressed upon because a lot of people are afraid to ask for help. Like
Yes.
I wasn't afraid. I was too proud. And
Yes.
go back and watch my episode with Ryan and how I became unproud to go see a therapist finally. But it's one of those things where, what have you found out there as far as resources? Because you mentioned here Echo Live, and then you put down a girls group chat.
Yes.
But what have you found that works and has been helpful to you and maybe other people?
Really, yeah. I mean, so Echo Live, the best part about Echo Live, Chris Lyle and a bunch of board members that are in the industry, they put on this amazing event and do networking things. But one of the things that they provide is mental health.
Yeah, right.
So if you can't afford, because a lot of us don't have health insurance, and so if you can't afford counseling, they'll pay for a certain amount. I think it's like up to 3 or 4 sessions, which is really awesome. But I think everybody just needs a good group chat to, vent and bitch.
You need 100%. And that's again with the bands that I work for. It's really great because the support systems are there just as friends to listen. I'm the first person to say, if you're having a bad day, call me. I got great ears. I'm not going to judge you. Cause I told, I think it was Ryan. I said, I got red in my ledger. I quoted a Marvel movie. I got red in my ledger that I need to make right. It's just, I'll listen. I'm not going to judge you. I don't care. I mean, mine is telling me you've done anything illegal. I'm not going to judge you. But I think that's just the whole thing, is having that support system, having people that are just literally wanting to sit there and listen to you and offer up maybe their real life advice. And it's just, I'm so tired of people not helping each other. Our world, I'm not going to say our country because I think it's all over the world, is so screwed up right now. It has so many people torn and anxious and paranoid that people don't know what next week's going to hold, let alone next year.
Right.
And especially in our industry, you've seen, I mean, it's proven. No one can say it can't happen because it happened March 16th. Our industry as a whole worldwide was shut down for 2 years. Not even a blink of an eye. You're done. That's it. I know guys who lost their lives because they didn't pick up the phone. And when I say guys, I mean friends. I've had friends, and it sucks. And I've tried to help people financially, and I needed help financially during the pandemic after that 6 to 8 months Kitty ran out. And there were organizations that helped me, and my family, which I am eternally grateful for. Michael Strickland over at Bandit looked out for me and my family. My buddy Sandy Espinoza, she helped me look out for my family. There are organizations out there that were willing to help, and they had the money to help crew guys at least put food on the table, put a Christmas gift under the tree. There were a lot of guys who weren't fortunate enough to either do the legwork or make the calls to try and help themselves. They were too proud.
Yeah.
When it
And
comes to feeding my family, I'm not too proud.
yeah, and I will say that was a big issue, especially during the pandemic. I do love that being part of the country world, CMAs, ACMs, they also have good resources. I
Yep.
think Grammys also had a grant during that time too. And then I know there's like a mental health, and I'm blanking on the name, and I'm so sorry. I can see the logo, but it's really, there are, luckily, as I've gotten more and deeper into this industry, there are resources, and there's wonderful resources out there. It's just a matter of not being too proud to actually use them, because I utilized every single thing during the
So did I.
pandemic.
And you know, like I said, you know, the people that helped me were great, and Sandy Espinosa was a great resource for helping me find those places because I didn't even know where to look. I mean,
Yes.
you're looking at an old man who's just an old roadie and didn't know what to do because this had never happened before. Well, we now know in our industry it happened once. It could definitely happen again, and
Absolutely.
people have to be prepared. You know,
Yes.
that 6 to 8 months saved up in the bank, it needs to be a year.
Yes, it does.
You know, I get a lot of calls constantly from guys, and I still to this day get calls, yeah, maybe 2 a week. "Hey, you wanna come out with us?" "No, not really. I don't. I enjoy semi-retirement." If the money's right and the people are cool, like, if you called me and said, "Hey, Brad needs a guy," I'm there. If Ryan called me and said, "Hey, I need someone to do this," I'm there. You know, it's one of those things where you go to work for the good people who are gonna treat you right, and the ones that don't, like, I'm too old to go out with, like, a baby band. I'll stab them all while they're sleeping with a spoon. I just don't wanna deal. I've been down that road years ago. It's like, no, no. But, you know, what I would like, if you don't mind, while we get
Sure.
ready to wrap up here, but what I would love, because I got a couple more quick questions for you, but
Sure.
if you would help me do something, I would like to, on my website, I have resources. Um, I am married to a veteran, so I have a lot of veterans resources. My 2 son-in-laws are veterans. My stepson is a veteran. So I have a lot of veterans resources. I want to start putting together a page. If you would help me, I would greatly appreciate it. You don't have to, but I would like to start putting together a resource page for our world.
Yeah.
You know, like, I've got Music Cares, I've got, Sheila Biddy. Yeah, and I'll make a little plug here for Music Health Alliance there in Nashville.
That
Sheila,
was it. Music Health Alliance.
Sheila Biddy and Colleen Hoagland, they got me through the pandemic because I came down with an illness, 2. One I don't want to discuss, but the second one is I almost lost my foot. And
Oh,
I had diabetic cellulitis. I did not know I was a diabetic. Did not find out till this all happened. I almost lost my foot. And then I got the pictures that are pretty freaking ugly. But thanks to them, they got me insurance. They got me insurance that paid for the surgery, that paid to help me get everything on track with being a diabetic and learning how to re-eat and taking insulin and taking Ozempic and doing all this stuff. Because the what sucks about our world right now is the cost of pharmaceuticals.
yes.
Before I had health insurance, and this gets one step better, and I'll tell you that in a minute. But before I had health insurance, my Ozempic and my insulin, my metformin, and I don't take it anymore because it made me a suicidal zombie, was gabapentin, and a couple other medications, was over $3,500 per month. Each Ozempic pen was $1,000.
Oh my God.
So thank God Ozempic came out with a program during the pandemic, and they still keep the program running with this coupon that you get each pen now for $75.
Oh, that's great.
Thank God. But everything else is just, so I didn't have insurance. So Sheila Biddy, she got me insurance, and all those costs went down. But in the interim, I was starting to get all the hospital bills,
Sure.
all the hospital bills, doctor's bills, rehab bills, you name it, everything totaling over 45K.
Hmm.
Music Cares paid all my bills,
Wow.
which Sheila had said, give me a breakdown, send me the bills. So I sent her the bills, and I get an email like a week later from Music Cares saying, we would like to let you know that we're going to cover all these bills, and they paid all the bills. And there are organizations out there, I just don't know them all, and I would love to know. Like Echo Live is something Ryan wants me to get involved with the podcast, which I would love to do. So Ryan and I are talking about that. But if I can enlist your help in getting a resource page, and I would just need like the website
Sure.
and all that stuff, and I'll start putting together a page just for roadies that will help them if they ever fall into the trap again of being broke.
Yep.
And that's again, like you said, people just have to stop being proud, and you just have to go, listen, I need to take care of me. I need to take care of my family.
Yeah.
So, final thoughts. So is there a specific message or something that you are passionate about that you want to tell people, whether it be about yourself, whether it be about the business, whether it be advice on the business? Is there something that your heart tells you need to do?
I can't remember what I actually wrote down. I know there's like 1,000 thoughts that go through my head when I hear this.
Oh, I got it right in front of me. I know what it says.
Can you remind me?
There is a spot for everyone on the road.
That's it. Okay. I was like,
that
was my first thought, but yes. So
that is so cool.
I wrote, so I got my master's during the pandemic because I didn't know if we were going to get our jobs back. And it's, my master's is in, professional studies with the emphasis in strategic leadership and management. And I wrote a paper about queen bees. And the biggest thing about queen bees is, it's not like the normal hive where you have a queen and it dictates and everybody kind of like works for the queen. What I have found, especially with women in the industry, is my career got stronger when I surrounded myself with more women and we all became queens in the game of chess. And and that's when I found there is a spot for everybody in this industry if you want it. But having a spot in this world, like, yes, if you want it, there is room for you at the table.
Yeah, I mean, I love that you wrote that, because when you wrote that, I was like, man, that's really like something I never thought I would say, but that's really cool saying, and I wish I came up with it. And it was one of those things where it can go to any avenue. If you're a marketing rep, there's a spot for anybody. If you're a roadie, there's a spot for anybody. If you're a doctor, if you're a garbage man, there's a spot for everybody. I think people stop believing in that. And in our industry, what I've learned is a lot of people are out for themselves and they'll step on you to get there.
Yes.
And in the process of stepping on you to get there, they don't realize that us old people know how to re-step on you. And I'm not looking to keep my top spot because I'm semi-retired. So the reality is I have lived an amazing career. I have worked for some amazing artists. I have been paid to see parts of this world people only dream of.
Right.
Have I paid the price in between? Family, watching my kids grow up. My body is not what it used to be. It used to be more svelte, but the pains, the aches, the surgeries, Yep. You pay a price in everything you do. I think we pay a heavier mental toll in what we do, because to pursue what we love to do, and I still love what I do and I hate what I do. It's the best love-hate relationship on the planet. But to watch the shows go off, and my biggest kickers, even when I was younger, is to watch people in the audience. And I had an old boss who I was with for many years. Such a great thing he said every night is that he was the house band for that person's good time that night. Meaning, and saying, he would say, you paid tickets to be here. You probably paid for parking, a babysitter, dinner. In a world where money is tight, we're here to give you a good time. And I watch people to this day in the audience. Like, I love TSO for the simple, and Joey, for the simple fact is, and I'll get back to Joey in a second, because something happened that I had never have happen in my career. But to watch TSO and to see a little kid in the audience watching the pyro and watching all the stuff in their face, like, you can't see it, but I'm getting goosebumps. My hair's standing up. That's still, to this day, at my age, being as old and grumpy and cynical as I am, still brings me joy. And it's one of the reasons I do what I do. But the Bon Jovi thing, something had happened that never happened to me in my career, which brought me joy and made me feel warm and fuzzy inside, which is very hard for this cold heart, is that in 2022, when we were doing the tour, the last big tour, when you hear like the crowd, people don't know, we wear ear monitors in our ears. We have these things that go inside of our ears. They're monitors, and they pretty much filter out all the sound outside So you really don't hear a conversation, especially when the band is playing. You're just hearing your ear monitors. When I heard the crowd singing Living on a Prayer over my ear monitors, like it was loud as day. And
Yeah.
then I took my ears out and went, holy shit. They didn't miss a word. Every voice in that arena was singing. I have never heard that in my life. And it was like a rush to going, we're watching people coming out of a pandemic who lost all their jobs, who weren't working, spent the money, came to the show. They are having fun. They are enjoying life at that moment and putting all the shit outside of those doors of the arena behind them. Even if it's for the 2-3 hours that they're in that concert, they're enjoying themselves and putting away all their worries. And so to this day, that still brings me joy to watch people have fun.
Yes.
You know, I don't know if that's like masochistic or something like that to watch her, but somebody else have fun. My fun is sitting at home with my dogs and my wife and just being chill, or fishing. But anyway, so we talked about advice. What coping we'll kind of end this here because we're over the hour and I don't really care because this is going to happen. What coping mechanisms or routines? And we know we talked about journaling and meditating and stuff like that. But what other ones? Because I have your answers here, so I know what you wrote.
Oh boy.
What other ones do you use on tour to kind of help? You know, I mean, right down to like eating. I mean, how does that all work for you?
Crap.
Because you know, we eat like shit.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I don't eat fast food unless I'm on tour.
I mean, it can be sometimes fast food on tour.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm saying. I don't eat it at home because we get so much of it on tour. But no, you wrote down, if you just kind of just touch on this, but you wrote down good sleep, good diet, and some alone time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree on the alone time. I do love my days off just sitting in my room doing nothing. Or going for a walk. You know, if it's nice out, I'll go for a walk.
Yep.
But I mean, I'm around, like, and you might concur with this. You're around touring family all the time during a show day. Sometimes you just want that hour or two to be alone.
Yep.
Like, I love going out to dinner with people, but I don't want to.
Yeah. And that's okay.
You know, DoorDash or Uber Eats is fine with me. But is there anything that you want to say? Anything you got left in the tank there to kind of bring up, you know, give some advice to any up and comers behind us?
Biggest advice is network the shit out of yourself. That's exactly how I got on tour, because it just led to somebody that led to somebody that led to somebody. Social media is your best friend. You'd be surprised how many people will take informational calls and just be like, hey, love your resume, love your career. I've been following it for a while. I'd love to know how I could get on the road or how I could be a promoter or whatever they want to do. You'd be surprised at how many people will lend a hand. They may not get you where you want to go, but, you know, give you some career advice. And people love to talk about themselves. So I always tell people, take them out for coffee. You'd be shocked how many people love talking about their career and their stories. And it's not a bad thing, but our life revolves around it. And so when people are like, hey, a normal person's like really interested in me, and you're like, oh, well, I'm the celebrity. I'm the one on the road. So I tell people, like, use the internet, use your resources. Like, my God, like the way people use social media nowadays, I would have just taken off running. But yeah, that's exactly how I got my boots on the ground, as Justin Carbone will say. I just, I found some playmakers, and then they led me to other playmakers, and then that led me to other people. And then finally I just got my foot in the door somewhere, and that's how I ended up on the road. And then from there I started meeting more people, and it just kind of rolled from there. And unfortunately, there is no right way to get into this industry, especially the roadie industry, because I know a lot of people that are very educated, and then I also know people that barely graduated high school. But the thing that we all have in common is we're all just misfits trying to put on a show. And as long as you can do your job and be a good hang, you will continue to get jobs. And that's how you just continue to get jobs.
I'm stealing that. We are misfits just putting on a show. I'm stealing that. That is perfect. I have never, you came up with two good ones. I like that. So All right. Well, listen, thank you so much. I appreciate you. We'll work on that list of resources for Road Crew, and you know, I'll reach out to you an email, and we'll see what we can do. But thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Jaimee, and I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her last name again because I'll screw it up. So follow her on Instagram. Check out her website. Everything will be listed once we post this episode. So thank you so much, Jaimee. I appreciate you, and tell Ryan I said hello. And Justin.
I will.
All right. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bad.